The Great Wave, the fourth episode of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. There is a tempest in me. Galadriel speaks of the forces that drive her. Beware, spoilers ahead. Mothers and their infants have gathered in Numenor's palace with Queen Regent Miriel. In this court we gather daily to hammer out our island's future. But at the blessing of the children, we gather to welcome those who will live that future. One is boundless as a sunrise over the rolling sea, she says, cradling an infant. The rolling sea, on the other hand, will have its say. The palace starts to tremble, and a blizzard of white petals rushes into the hall. The white tree, a symbol of the Valar's watchfulness and judgment, is shaking its petals. An enormous wave rushes over the island, crumbling its edifice, flooding furiously into the palace itself, submerging Miriel and the future she cradles in her arms. She opens her eyes in a bedroom that is sunlit and extremely dry. "It's a perfect day," exclaims her lady-in-waiting. Miriel is more likely to settle for not apocalyptic. "I say the queen's either blind or an elf lover, just like her father," says the bully Halbrand smashed up in a crowded courtyard. Chancellor Pharazôn interrupts elf lover chants to declare, "I swear that elf hands will never take Numenor's helm." He sends wine to the crowd, hoping that a little lubrication will smooth out these alarmingly squeaky wheels. We have a meet cute in this suddenly celebratory mood. Kemen, Pharazôn's son, chats up new apprentice Irian while she watches the crowd. Miriel examines the scrolls Galadriel brought back from the Hall of Lore in the palace. Galadriel urges her to rebuild the Elven Alliance and fight Sauron together. Miriel calls this the most surprising and ambitious proposal she's heard in weeks, but Numenor refuses to participate. The women started off on equal footing, but Galadriel now towers above Miriel from the raised platform, surrounded by a halo of lanterns, looking every inch the elf ruler Pharazôn promised would never rise in Numenor. She rejects the authority of the Queen Regent in favor of her deposed father. The end result? She is imprisoned behind the jail's bronze bars, 2 cells down from Halbrand. Isildur, along with the other cadets, looks across the sea to Numenor's rocky western shores. He hears the enigmatic whisper once more, "Isildur," the sun-golden coast calls to him. He lets go of his rope, and the sailmaster dismisses him, but he also dismisses Isildur's companions. Back on land, Isildur's promise to reinstate his beleaguered friends only makes matters worse. "Since I was big enough to hold an oar I wanted on that boat. I did everything I was supposed to do to earn it," Valandil exclaims. He gets slapped across the face for that bit of exposition. This friendship has come to a halt. Arondir, who is chained in the Orc's lair, is also in serious trouble. Finally, Adar appears, one side of his face covered in a spiderweb of scars. He has elf ears, much to Arondir's surprise. Adar kneels beside an injured orc and smiles gently as the orc's blood-red eyes open and a final rapturous "Adar, father," escapes his lipless mouth. Adar stabs the injured orc, holding his gaze until he stops breathing. In Elvish, Adar inquires as to where Arondir was born. "You have been told many lies," Adar says. "Like, say, an evil kingdom in the Southlands? But that is something only the gods can do, and I am no god," Adar states. Adar gives Arondir a message to bring back to the Watchtower, where Bronwyn, who has taken command, greets the throngs of Southlanders. Rations are running low, so Theo suggests a dash back to town to replenish them. Bronwyn, on the other hand, will not put her son in danger. "You can either help me, or you can make it harder," she warns. Theo chooses harder, which is understandable given that he is the headstrong son of a headstrong mother and also happens to be in possession of an evil whispering sword that is trying to remake itself. He returns to the abandoned village anyway, only to be met by an orc. To protect himself, Theo holds out the broken sword, which bursts into flame and begins reforging itself in the heat of battle. The orc shouts to his companions that Theo has the hilt. Could this be the weapon they've been scouring the Southlands for? Elrond has returned to Moria to discover what Durin is hiding, based on Celebrimbor's suspicions. Disa tells Elrond that he can find Durin in the quartz mine, but Elrond is skeptical. Disa's generous warmth becomes icy. "Was there anything else you wanted to ask about, dearie?" she asks, But it sounds like you can go now. Elrond, on the other hand, was correct. He overheard Durin telling Disa that they're making good progress in the old mine. Elrond descends into a hidden chamber in search of his friend's secret, where he discovers rocks riven with veins of glowing silvery purple. But Durin catches him and demands Elrond's oath of silence before he will tell him more. Elrond swears on his father's memory, hand to mountain. Durin demonstrates to Elrond the gleaming ore known as mithril, which is lighter than silk, harder than iron. Durin believes it is the start of a new era for dwarves, but it is dangerous to mine and has been restricted by the king. Durin gives Elrond the nugget as a token of their restored friendship. But then the ground shakes and a cloud of dust fills the room, indicating that the earth has swallowed the 4 miners who are currently digging for mithril. We sail back across the bridge-top canals of Numenor, where we've seen friends make up and break up. While Command takes his shot with Irian, Galadriel paces in her cell, mostly ignoring Halbrand's advice. Pharazôn appears to inform Galadriel that she will be returned to the elves tonight. She is led out of her gilded cage and into a circle of guards. But it's not just Halbrand who can defeat a swarm of men on her own. They've replaced her behind the bronze bars in an instant. Galadriel marches directly into the bedchamber of the deposed king. But she is greeted by the Queen Regent herself, who is gently caring for her sick father. This vulnerability is enough to overcome their mistrust. Galadriel even says please at one point. Miriel finally admits, when she was chosen to succeed her father on the throne due to his elven allegiance, he brought her to the tower chamber, where Miriel now brings Galadriel, swathed in forest green rather than ocean blue. She reveals to the elf what is hidden, a Palantir's dark marbled orb, one of 7 seeing stones passed down to Miriel along with a secret. Galadriel rests her hand on it. She finds herself inside Miriel's vision, but this time it is Galadriel who is being swept away by the crash of water. It is Numenor's future, Miriel says, and Galadriel's arrival is the catalyst for it. Galadriel claims that avoiding the war may be what drowns Numenor. I know what it is to be the only one who sees, the only one who knows, Galadriel says softly. Perhaps neither of us have to bear that burden alone any longer. I beg of you, Miriel, choose not the path of fear, but that of faith. Miriel, on the other hand, cannot. Theo attempts to flee his destroyed village in the Southlands. But then an orc catches him, and Theo is covered in blood. Arondir has arrived and is running the orc through. They sprint through the grey dawn of the forest, and as arrows pierce the air, Bronwyn appears, looking for her son. Arondir repels the legion of orcs until they reach a clearing bathed in the rose gold of a sunrise, where the orcs are unable to follow. Back in the mines, Disa's powerful voice is resonating, echoing off the walls in a plea to the rocks to release the bodies of the miners with breath still inside them. Durin arrives with the good news that all 4 are alive and well. Durin is enraged because his father has shut down the project and wants the vein of mithril sealed off. Lifted beyond the bounds of this world, to forever carry the evening star across the sky, Elrond's father said. A great honor, and a great burden on the son left behind to deal with his father's legacy and absence. Durin begs his father's forgiveness for his pride and stubbornness, inspired by Elrond's words. The king, gazing down upon his lamp-lit kingdom of stone and ore, refuses to hear it. Forever am I with you, my son. Even in anger. Sometimes in anger most of all. There is nothing to forgive. The dwarves continue to be role models for healthy family relationships. They agree that Durin will accompany Elrond to Lindon. There's more going on than they've been told. Arondir delivers Adar's message to Bronwyn at the tower. The people can live if they abandon the lands and swear loyalty to him. Her son sits in the shadows as they look down at Bronwyn's community of necessity. A black hole is about to swallow him from behind. Just as another darkness approaches, Waldreg makes it clear that he is a supporter of Sauron and is aware that Theo has the hilt. He says the starfall was a sign that Sauron's time is coming. Theo will need all of his strength for what's coming. Galadriel boards the boat that is waiting to take her away in Numenor for the second time. Another blizzard of white petals begins to fall as Miriel and Pharazôn walk through the streets. But this is no vision. The tree is, in fact, shedding its petals, drenching the kingdom in the Valar's tears. Miriel understands what it means. There is a fateful hour in the destinies of men, she tells the assembled kingdom. An hour of judgment in which each of us, every one, must decide who we shall be. She will accompany Galadriel back to Middle-earth to help the Southlands fight. Numenor's sons and daughters, living embodiments of the future, may volunteer to join them. A new great wave washes through the palace, this time made of brave hands rising into the air, rather than water. Previous episodes ended with mysterious men with unknown intentions. But, at this point in the season, the last thing we see are Galadriel and Miriel's steely gazes, women who know exactly who they are and what they must do. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more videos like this. Click like and turn on notifications to help out the channel.